Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining the first webinar of this year. On behalf of the whole committee of the Visit USA, Belgium, Luxembourg, very welcome. Let me first tell me a little bit about the Visit USA committee. The Visit USA committee is an association of tour operators and agencies in Belgium. There's also American tourist boards who are represented in it, and there's even a delegation from the US Embassy who work all together to promote the destination USA to the Belgium, and towards Belgium. And it's mainly the focus on B2B promotion, so promotion towards the travel agencies and the tour operators who want to sell the US. So this is the first webinar of this year. We have postponed the first one, so this one a little bit due to circumstances, but the goal is to have a webinar every month, and it should be the last Tuesday of the month at 4 p.m. So the next one will be the 29th of March, as this one is the postponed one of the last Tuesday of February. If you have any questions, I hope that everybody is familiarized with Teams. You can put it on the chat box and we can follow it up and make sure to answer those questions during the webinar, or maybe afterwards when we send this webinar towards you. The webinar is recorded and will be sent to you by the latest on Monday, so you can see it again, or maybe forward it to colleagues who have missed us at this time. And also when we send it, the record, we will also forward the questions for the quiz, because we have a nice quiz about the destination. The destination for today is Oregon, and I welcome Olivier Barthez, who represents the Oregon Tourism Commission in Belgium, Luxembourg, and France. Maybe you can wave, Oliver. Hi, Olivier.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
So Olivier represents Oregon, and his details will be sent with that mail as well. So if you need any maps, brochures, or any marketing material to promote the destination of Oregon, you can reach out to him. Okay. Yeah. I was talking about the quiz already. There's for this quiz, there's 3 very nice prizes. The first prize is a very nice backpack of Oregon. Second prize will be a fitness kit, and the third prize will be a goodie bag with all nice things from the destination Oregon. Okay, and I would like to, before we start with the presentation, the webinar itself, I would like to thank my colleague Gerald for doing the technique for this webinar, because that's not my strongest asset. Thank you, Gerald. And Olivier, up to you.
Thank you, Peter. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. And thank you again for joining this Oregon presentation. And without further ado, let's have a quick look at the map of the United States to locate the state of Oregon. We are located in what is called the Pacific Northwest of the US. Oregon has common borders with the states of California in the south, Washington State in the north, Idaho on the east side, and Nevada in the southeast corner. Oregon is the 10th largest state in the country, with a little over 255,000 square kilometers, which is the equivalent of 8 times the size of Belgium, with a population of just 4.2 million inhabitants. So obviously we have a lot of open space in Oregon, and our destination is popular for the diversity of its natural wonders. And when we look at this topographic map, we realize how diverse Oregon's landscapes can be, combining an ocean coast, high mountain ranges, vast plains and high desert plateau, a particularly rich river system, as well as large forests. Oregon's largest city is Portland, and it is located in the north, right next to the Columbia River banks, which forms the border with Washington State. Portland's airport IATA code is PDX, and there are currently 3 European airports that are connected directly to PDX. Delta Airlines offers direct services from Amsterdam Schiphol, which is particularly convenient for Belgian travelers, and the route will resume on May 3rd. Icelandair will resume its direct Keflavik-Portland service on May 5th, with connections from Brussels National Airport. And finally, starting June 3rd, we'll have a brand new flight between London Heathrow and PDX, thanks to British Airways, again with connections from Brussels National. Of course, your clients can also reach Portland via multiple US major hubs, such as Chicago, Newark, or Washington Dulles with United Airlines, and many more. So the access to Portland is quite convenient. Plus, it's a small airport, and it is frequently ranked #1 in the US for its punctuality rates. Portland, as I said, is Oregon's largest city. And when I say largest, it's all things considered, since its population is of only 645,000 people, which is more or less comparable to a city like Antwerp. In the US, Portland is quite unique in its kind. It's a very compact city. Portlanders live, work, play, and shop in the city center. And let's momentarily go back in history to understand what Portland today is. In the 1970s, the city was suffering major disaffection of its population because of high unemployment and crime rates. And the Oregon governor took radical measures to overcome these issues and give Portland a new dynamism. One crucial measure was to give Portland city boundaries beyond which it had become very complicated to build in order to preserve farmland and wilderness areas. At that time, people who wanted to settle in Portland had to live in the downtown area by rehabilitating former industrial wastelands to environmentally friendly standards. This is why today, when you leave Portland's inner city, you are very quickly in contact with wild nature, large forests, rivers, snow-capped mountains, vineyards, and other farmlands. Also, one of the incentives that were implemented to make Portland and Oregon an affordable and attractive place to live was to eliminate sales tax on purchase of everyday consumer goods, which, as you can imagine, makes Oregon the perfect place to go shopping today. All prices that you see on the labels in the stores are the prices you will pay at the cashier. Your clients will systematically save 4 to 7% compared to other states in the country. Here is one of the iconic shots of Portland, and it gives you a good perspective of how the city was developed. This picture was taken from one of our major parks. It shows the downtown area in the foreground, and these buildings that you see are not skyscrapers per se. Even the tallest building in Portland is fairly modest in comparison to what you would find in any other major city in the US. In the background of the photo is what I call the Fujiyama of Oregon. It's actually Mount Hood, one of the volcanoes that form the Cascade mountain range. It is a year-round snow-capped mountain, and this is where the US Olympic ski team practices in the summer months. Here you see the proximity of the mountain with downtown Portland, and it takes roughly 1 hour drive from the city to the base of the mountain. Finally, Portland's neighborhoods are scattered in the close vicinity of the downtown area, and you can barely see them because of the high density of the vegetation. Portland has no less than 280 parks and natural areas, making it one of the greenest cities in North America. Portlanders are very committed to their parks and to respecting the environment in all its forms. For generations, Portlanders have been involved in numerous sustainability programs, which makes Portland a leader in the fight for the respect of ecology in the United States. This next picture gives you a quick look at downtown Portland. This is our tram system that runs through the city and connects it with the surroundings. There is also a tram line called MAX, M-A-X, that goes from PDX Airport to the city center in less than 40 minutes and costs $2.50. As you can see, blocks of buildings are close to each other and sidewalks are wide and well maintained, which makes Portland a very walkable city. There is a very dense network of bicycle lanes. Cyclists are particularly respected by car drivers, and Portland ranks first in the nation for the number of bicycles per inhabitant. Most of your clients' hotels will be located in the downtown area, and you will find a very large choice of accommodation options, from moderate to luxury, major brands, as well as a wide range of independent hotels. Hotel rates in Portland are generally significantly lower than the ones in Seattle, or even more so in San Francisco, and your clients can afford a 5-star property in Portland for the price of a 2 to 3-star hotel in San Francisco. Another of my favorite perspectives of Portland is the one taken from the banks of the Willamette River. The Willamette River runs through Portland and separates the west from the east side of the city, and you will find no less than 12 bridges connecting the west to the east side, all different from each other, from Gothic-style suspension bridge to the world's second largest tide arch bridge, to the most recent bridge that is the only one in the country that is fully dedicated to pedestrians, bicycles, and public transportation. This particularity gave Portland one of its nicknames, Bridge City. Another of Portland's nicknames is the City of Roses, and it comes from the fact that we gave the largest rose state garden in North America to Portland, which dates back to 1917. This garden hosts over 7,000 plants of 550 different varieties of roses, and it is located in Washington Park, which overlooks the city. Visiting the garden is free of charge, and the best season is between April and October. The Portland Rose Festival has been held annually since 1907 and has become one of the city's most popular events, with parades, concerts, sporting events, a fair, and of course, the election of the Rose Festival Queen. Right next to the Rose Garden is Portland's Japanese Garden, that is considered by Japanese master gardeners as one of the most authentic Japanese gardens in the entire world, with its 2.2 hectares of rare plants, flowers, trees, bonsais, a Zen garden, and tea house. It is open year-round, every day of the week except Tuesdays, and costs $19 per adult. This next image is probably one of the most representatives of Portland. I am talking about Portland food carts. Elsewhere in the world, we call them food trucks. Food carts were actually developed in Portland in the 1970s, when the city authorities wanted workers to be able to eat near their work site quickly and for a small fee. And since then, food carts have sprung up all over the town and have become a real part of Portlanders' lives. Today, there are an estimated 600 food carts in Portland and the surrounding area, most of them in small groups of 10 to 12, and offering literally every cuisine of the world: Asian, African, South American, barbecue, vegan, European, even Belgian food carts. So if you go to Portland and you are homesick, you can always go to Fritkot Belgian fry food carts or to Smaak and Waffle food cart. Eating at a food cart is also an opportunity to mix with Portlanders, and your clients will find fresh and delicious food and drinks at moderate prices. This is one of the favorite carts for smoothies, and it is interactive. So basically, you choose your ingredients, which are placed with ice cubes in the blender that is fixed on the bicycle, and it's up to you to pedal to make the blender work. And there's always someone walking by to applaud you and encourage you, which is really fun. And food is really a big thing in Portland and Oregon in general. We are lucky to have thousands of farmers around the state who grow literally everything in all seasons, with the exception, of course, of tropical fruits and vegetables. Farmers markets are very popular, and the largest one in Portland is the PSU Saturday Market, where every Saturday of the year since 1996, you will find over 100 vendors selling fruits and vegetables, meats, fish, cheeses, truffles. Oregon is the largest producer of truffles in the US, flowers, etc., which are all produced in Oregon. With such a variety of fresh produce, the food scene in Portland is just incredible, with the emergence of dozens of talented and creative chefs who have opened their restaurants in all parts of the city. Food traceability is something that Portlanders take very seriously, and in the majority of the restaurants, you will find a board that indicates the origin of each ingredient of the menu. This wild salmon was caught by this fisherman, the asparagus were collected from this farmer in this village, etc. So as you can see, we are far, far away from the cliché of junk foods one can have when it comes to eating in the US. And this is one of the aspects Europeans love about Oregon. I was just talking about food, but top quality drinks are also a major importance to the Oregonians, especially when it comes to beer and wine. I know Belgium is a big country for beer, but the city of Portland has no less than 72 microbreweries, that is to say more than any other American city, which gave Portland another nickname, that is Beervana, a contraction of beer and nirvana. Several operators in Portland organize brewery tours with beer tastings, and restaurants often pair their dishes with beers the same way they do with wines. Portland is also famous for its urban wineries, and Oregon is a well-known destination for wine lovers, especially the Oregon Pinot Noir, which wins major competitions around the world every year. Earlier in the presentation, I was telling you that Portlanders work and live in town, which makes it a very pleasant city for your clients to stay in and explore. Popular events take place year-round in all parts of Portland, such as the first Thursday in the Pearl. This is a district-wide celebration that occurs on the first Thursday of each month. Originally a gathering of art collectors and dealers, the celebration has grown to a monthly event of over 10,000 people that includes art, wine, and shopping enthusiasts. Art galleries in the district are all open late into the evening for receptions and new show openings. Many of the galleries offer food and drink, while the artists are available to meet and discuss their work. On pleasant evenings, the streets are literally packed with artists selling their creations, and musicians and bands playing live music on many of the closed-off streets, such as shown on this picture. And every Portland district has its own similar event, where locals and visitors gather to taste world cuisines, discover new shops, and listen to live music. I could speak about Portland for hours because there is so much your clients will enjoy while visiting. But let's hit the road now and explore more of the state of Oregon. We are going west towards the Pacific Ocean, and the nearest point on the coast is only a 90-minute drive from Portland. The Oregon coast is 584 kilometers long. These are 584 kilometers of pristine coast, offering spectacular vistas on the Pacific Ocean, with vertiginous cliffs, pine tree forests, immense sandy beaches, a rich wildlife, as well as authentic and vibrant fishing towns. Astoria is the first Oregon port city your clients will reach when driving from Washington State. The bridge you see on the picture connects Washington State with Oregon and the mouth of the Columbia River. It is a very picturesque town built on hills overlooking the river. The major industry here is fishing, in particular wild salmon. Dozens of movies were filmed in and around Astoria, such as The Goonies, Free Willy, for several chapters of the series Twilight. So don't be surprised if visiting Astoria for the first time gives you an impression of déjà vu. Cannon Beach is one of the postcards of the Oregon coast. This town is where wealthy Portlanders come spend the weekend. There are art galleries, fine dining, shopping, and nice hotel accommodation. If we were to make a quick comparison, we would say that Cannon Beach is to Portlanders what Knokke is to Antwerpers. The beach you see on the picture is typical to the Oregon coast, with wide sandy beaches, giant volcanic rocks, ocean waves, and green forests on the edge of the cliffs. Very important to know, we don't swim in the waters of the Northern Pacific Ocean, because the water is always between 12 and 14 degrees centigrade, that is to say, very cold, and they are very powerful currents. Most common activities on the coast are surfing, wearing a wetsuit, walking or horseback riding on the beach. Fat tire bike rentals are available at many locations. The observation of marine life is also popular, especially at low tide, when you can see multicolor starfish in the tide pools, as well as sea anemones and urchins. Sea lions and whales can also be seen here and there along the coast, and there is even a huge sea lion cave further south near the coastal city of Florence. Highway 101 is a scenic road your clients will take when driving down the coast. And by the way, it is better to drive along the coast going from north to south, because you are on the right side of the road to have the best panoramas, and it will be easier and safer to park your car and walk down to the beach. Newport is one of the visitors' favorite spots on the coast. It is a vibrant town where one can see dozens of fishing boats, such as on the picture. Every morning you can see them come back from deep sea and unload quantities of salmon, tuna, Dungeness crabs, shrimps, scallops, and other delicious ocean creatures that you will find on the menu of the many restaurants in town. Newport is also the home to the Oregon Coast Aquarium, one of the largest aquariums and marine education centers in the Pacific Northwest. There are 9 lighthouses on the Oregon coast, and several of them can be visited. The one you see on the screen is Yaquina Head Lighthouse. This is one of Oregon state parks, and it is located just a 10-minute drive north of Newport. There is a visitor center with panels featuring the history of the Oregon coast and its natural heritage. You can tour the lighthouse itself, and as you can see on the picture, there are stairs that take you to the beach of volcanic pebbles. This is also a great spot at low tide to walk from one tide pool to another and look for sea stars. Leaving Newport, as you drive towards the southern part of the Oregon coast, you will encounter one of the world's longest beaches, 86 kilometers of pristine sandy beach that is part of a natural preserve called the Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area. Some of the dunes reach 45 meters in height, and a variety of activities are offered on site, such as sandboard, fishing, kayak, canoe, horseback riding, etc. There are also campgrounds that are fully equipped to host tents, RVs, and camper vans. We now leave the Oregon coast and head inland to the southern part of the Cascade Mountain Range, where one of the jewels of our state is located, Crater Lake National Park. This lake, with incredible blue waters, is a caldera formed following the explosion 7,700 years ago of a volcano called Mount Mazama. It is the deepest lake in North America. And to give you an idea of how deep the lake is, take the Eiffel Tower. On top of it, you put the Empire State Building, and on top of it, you add the Statue of Liberty. Well, you still haven't reached the surface of the lake. So indeed, the lake is very deep, and its waters almost never freeze, even though we are at high elevation, and the average annual snowfall is of 14 meters. There is one lodge located on the rim of the lake. It's called Crater Lake Lodge. Your clients can spend a night there or just take a meal and sit on the large terrace overlooking the blue waters. We stay on the Cascades mountain range, in its northern part this time, and we find the majestic Mount Hood and its eternal snows. The photo was taken with the Columbia River at our back, so we are looking south, and between the river and Mount Hood is a region of orchards and vineyards with many fruit trees of all kinds. Your guests will be able to access the farms, pick their own fruits and vegetables, and then pay directly to the farmers. Still north of the Cascade Range on the Oregon side is the Columbia River, which has formed a spectacular gorge along which there are no less than 70 waterfalls and cascades. The most famous one is Multnomah Falls, directly accessible from the interstate along the river. These falls are 189 meters high and are the second highest falls in the United States. It is not necessary to walk a lot to reach the foot of these falls. On the other hand, some of them are accessible through more or less physical hikes, such as the one of Oneonta Gorge. This short 30-minute hike ends with a 10-minute walk in the water before reaching the waterfall. This specific hike was recently closed due to wildfire damage, and the authorities are hoping to reopen the trail by the year 2023. We are now leaving the Cascade Range to go to the eastern part of Oregon, and there you will see that everything will be different. The climate, the vegetation, the colors, the terrain, etc. The change will be so radical that your customers will have the feeling to have changed destination in just a few hours. This part of Oregon is protected from the maritime influences by the Cascade Range, and the climate here is much drier and sunnier, which of course will also have an impact on vegetation. This is the kind of landscape your clients will experience in Eastern Oregon, with large farmlands that specialize in crops as well as sheep farming. Smith Rock is another one of our state parks. It is located a 30-minute drive north of the city of Bend and is a major spot for rock climbing in the Pacific Northwest. There are also hiking trails, which you can see on the picture, as well as picnic areas. Eastern Oregon is also home to the Painted Hills, which are hills covered with bentonite, and this is the kind of landscape you would rather expect in Utah, Arizona, or Death Valley. But yes, this is Oregon. The park rangers have installed an elevated boardwalk that allows you to walk through the hills to take beautiful pictures. It's almost as if you were hiking on another planet. Further east is Pendleton, a city that is famous in many ways. It is the capital of Eastern Oregon, and its name evokes the cowboy culture, as it has hosted the third largest professional rodeo in the United States every year since 1910, called the Pendleton Round-up. This major cowboy event lasts for a week, attracting tens of thousands of visitors from around the world, and the next edition will take place from September 10 to the 17th of 2022. Pendleton is also known for its internationally recognized quality wool mills, which can be visited. Pendleton is a brand that creates and sells blankets and clothing with mainly Native American designs. You may have seen these products if you have visited the Western US, because Pendleton blankets are widely available in the stores. Still further east, we find ourselves at the border with Idaho, which is formed by Hell's Canyon, itself carved by the Snake River. This is a very wild and preserved area, close to a small mountain range called the Wallowa Mountains, which offers countless opportunities for hiking, mountain biking, and water sports on the Snake River, such as whitewater rafting. Finally, southeastern Oregon is a very large area of mostly open steppe, where your guests are more likely to encounter wild mustangs running free than human beings. This remote area offers a very limited choice of accommodation. just a few basic motels, some cabin rentals, and campgrounds. Those of your clients who will travel with an RV or camper van will have a blast given the sense of freedom this region provides. Even more dramatic is the landscape offered by Alvord Desert. It's a very arid land that offers immense perspectives, inviting to meditation and photography. Those who enjoy observing the night skies will be spoiled, as this region of high plateau does not suffer from atmospheric pollution or artificial light. The Steene Mountains in the background offer great opportunities for hiking and mountain biking. There are so many other Oregon wonders that I would have loved to present to you, but time is short. Nevertheless, I hope that you have traveled through these visuals and that this presentation has motivated you to learn more about Oregon and share this information with your clients. You have my contact information on the screen. Please feel free to contact me if you have any specific questions. Thank you very much for your attention, and I give the microphone back to Peter.
Thank you so much, Olivier. Thank you for introducing the lovely state of Oregon to us. I've been there, takes back nice memories of a couple of years ago, so I would recommend a visit to really everybody. So this wraps up our first webinar, but let me make some promotion, please, for our following events. I already mentioned our next webinar, the 29th of March, with Travel South. And then please put in your agenda a very important event, because we will meet each other in person on the 21st of April. We have the Relaunch USA, in which different tour operators and tourism boards of the US will be representing. It will take place in Kontig in the Jachthorn. Well, we will have it in a nice atmosphere with some food and drinks, as you are used to us, and we will make there a nice B2B event. As told before, this presentation will be sent, it is recorded and will be sent to you by Monday the latest, with the quiz. And I would encourage everybody to participate, because there are not only very nice presents, gifts given by Olivier, but you can also participate in a larger draw, which will be the end of the year, where there's a super prize for the people who have participated on every quizzes every month. So please make sure that you watch all our webinars and do all our quizzes, because you could be the lucky one by the end of the year. And the contact details of Olivier, as told before, you can reach out to him if you need any further information, or promotion material from Oregon will be sent in that mail as well. So thank you in name of the Visit USA Benelux, Belux, to be present today. I hope you learned a lot and that you can start selling Oregon to your clients, because it's very worthwhile to send them there. They will be very happy, as Olivier already mentioned. Thank you very much, and see you on one of our next presentations or our relaunch event. Thank you.